It was a cold winter morning, and Donald Trump was making his way through New York City in his car, heading to an important meeting. The air was crisp, and the streets were alive with people hurrying toward their destinations. But suddenly, something caught his eye. At a street corner, sitting on the sidewalk, was a man wrapped in a tattered military jacket and a frayed blanket. Beside him, a cardboard sign stood out with bold letters, "I am a veteran. Please help." Without hesitation, Trump instructed his driver to stop the car. Turning to his security detail, he firmly said, "I want to know who that man is." Then, without a second thought, he stepped out of the vehicle. The icy wind hit his face as he walked toward the man, drawing curious stares from passers-by. The man, noticing Trump approaching, flinched slightly but remained seated. With a calm and gentle voice, Trump asked, "Hello, what's your name?" The man hesitated before looking up, his voice hoarse and weak. "My name is John Miller," he replied. Trump knelt down, meeting John at eye level, his gaze steady and filled with empathy. "Tell me your story, John," he said softly. John tucked his trembling hands under his worn-out blanket. Taking a deep breath, he began speaking in a tired, shaky voice. "I'm a veteran. I joined the military at 22. I served in Afghanistan. We faced things you can't even imagine. I lost friends. Every day was a battle just to stay alive. But the hardest part? It wasn't what happened there, it was coming home and realizing that nothing was the same anymore." Trump listened intently, his face reflecting the weight of John's words. John's voice faltered as he continued, "I was badly injured during one of our missions. An explosion took my friends, and I can never forget that moment. When I came back, they treated my wounds, but my soul, it was never healed." He paused, his eyes welling with tears. Lowering his head, he added in a broken whisper, "My family abandoned me. They said I was a burden. I lost my job, and when I couldn't pay my debts, I lost my home. One day, I found myself out here on the streets. Cold, hungry, completely alone." Tears streamed down John's face as he continued, his voice cracking. "No one reached out a hand. No one even saw me. I once fought for this country, risked everything, but now, it feels like I don't exist. People walk past me like I'm a ghost." Trump's expression remained serious, the depth of his emotions evident. But John wasn't finished. Clutching his blanket tightly, he spoke again. "Last winter, I was sleeping out here just like this when the man next to me, he froze to death, right beside me. When I woke up, he was still wrapped in his blanket. I called the police, but it was too late. He was a Vietnam veteran." John's voice trembled as he looked up at Trump, his tear-filled eyes filled with agony. "What terrifies me the most? One day, that could be me. Someone might find me the same way, frozen, forgotten." His voice broke completely. "I gave everything for this country, and now, my life is nothing but darkness. Sometimes I ask myself, why did I even survive?" Trump inhaled deeply, the weight of John's words pressing heavily upon him. His voice, steady but thick with emotion, finally responded. "John, a man like you should never be. John, you gave your life in service to this country, and yet, this country has let you down. That has to change. And I promise you, it will." John stared at Trump, his face filled with disbelief, but deep within his eyes, a flicker of hope sparked. "Really? You'd do this for me?" he asked, his voice trembling. Without a moment's hesitation, Trump responded, "Yes, John. You fought for this country, and now it's time for this country to fight for you. This is just the beginning. The darkness ends here. Together, we'll make things right." For the first time in what felt like years, tears of hope streamed down John's face. This wasn't just an act of kindness, it was a lifeline. Trump wasn't merely offering assistance. He was giving John something far greater, a reason to believe in a better tomorrow. Without delay, Trump pulled out his phone and called his assistant. "Book the nearest hotel. I want a doctor on site immediately." His voice was firm, leaving no room for delay. Then, turning to his bodyguard, he added, "Get John a hot meal. Right now." Sitting back down beside John, Trump placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We're going to take care of you now," he said warmly. Within minutes, the bodyguard returned, carrying a steaming bowl of soup and a sandwich. At first, John hesitated, but as he took a bite, his eyes filled with fresh tears. "It's been so long since I've had something warm to eat," he whispered. Trump stayed by his side, offering words of encouragement and ensuring John finished every bite. An hour later, a sleek black SUV pulled up. Trump personally helped John into the car, making sure he was comfortable before escorting him to the hotel. When they arrived, John was led to a private room, where a warm shower, clean clothes, and a soft bed awaited him. For the first time in what felt like forever, he experienced a sense of dignity. But Trump's efforts didn't stop there. He had also arranged for a doctor to check on John, ensuring he received proper medical care and a clear path to recovery. The next morning, Trump met John in the hotel's dining area, where a beautifully set breakfast table awaited them. With a warm smile, Trump said, "John, I've put together a plan for you." Leaning in, he continued, "There's an incredible organization called Veterans United. They specialize in helping homeless veterans rebuild their lives. I'm going to connect you with them, and personally, I'll cover all your expenses for the first year." John's eyes widened in shock. "Really? You're doing this for me?" His voice shook with emotion. Trump nodded, his expression unwavering. "Yes, John. You served this country with honor, and now, it's time for this country to serve you. This is the least I can do." Later that day, John met with a representative from Veterans United. They walked him through all the resources available: housing, job training, counseling, everything he needed for a fresh start. Before leaving, Trump handed John a check from his foundation to cover any immediate expenses. Overwhelmed, John held it in his hands, his eyes filled with gratitude. "This feels like a miracle," he said, his voice breaking. "I never imagined my life could turn around so quickly." As Trump prepared to leave, he turned back to John and said something that would stay with him forever. "One day, you'll have the chance to help someone else. That's how we make the world better, by reaching out a hand to those in need." John, now tearful but determined, looked Trump in the eye and promised, "I swear, one day, I'll pay it forward." Then, facing the camera, Trump spoke directly to the viewers with heartfelt sincerity. "There are so many people in this country who desperately need help. We can't just turn a blind eye. Even the smallest act of kindness can change a life. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to be a beacon of hope. Remember this. We all have the power to make a difference." The story concluded with powerful images of John embracing his new life, moving into a safe home, preparing for work, and smiling with a renewed sense of hope. He finally had a place to call home, a sense of purpose, and the dignity he had long lost. It was living proof that one act of kindness could transform a life forever. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more inspiring stories. Together, let's spread hope and kindness.